developers recently added terrain, like deformation, in the snow, and they also added a giant snow map and a giant field of snow. Except it's not winter yet, so I want to clear out all of the snow. Now you might be wondering how I plan to clear out all of the snow. Am I gonna make up a giant snowplow and then just run over it? And that's not quite the case, because, we have stuff like this mine, steps charge, that if I just launch that out, it clears out a decent bit of snow. And now I can walk freely, instead of, like, trudging through the snow like this. However, really quickly, I want to get in something that can fly, and then attach a bomb bay, and see how well that does. Go up here, drop the bombs. That certainly does something. And it could be good, but I think it's, like, less than the death charges were. Okay. So if I just make a little, like, T out of them, I can't put this any closer because it would overlap with that. And then duplicate this up. Actually, I can alternate every other one. So I can select this, duplicate this up here, alternate it, and that way we just get like more of a square shape. And then duplicate that, and then duplicate that, and duplicate that. This is a decent amount of comp. Yeah, that is actually too much comp, so I'm going to simplify this design down to just be 2 blocks. One right there, one right there. And then I can start duplicating. And then a tower this big is 16, well, it's 616 comp. We're going to need quite a few gyros. Duplicate that. Do that. Put a seed on here. And then we're gonna need quite a few, what are they called? Gimbal jets. They should be right here. Yep. Put these down. Build them up. And then, yes, this definitely flies. And then I need to get an altitude sensor and see how high is a good height, and then automate that. Altitude sensor. Right there. I'm gonna go to, let's go with 80. I wish the altitude sensor had a relative to ground, but basically that's what a distance sensor is, pointing straight down, but then we wouldn't have to point it straight down and keep it level, but it's fine. Toggle all of these, trigger below, altitude 80, trigger all of these too. Okay. And then below 80, that should do that. And then if I compress this, it is definitely going above 80. Is there a limit on how many of these I can fire at a time? Because this doesn't seem to be working. It seems to only be doing some of them. If I just try to trigger all of these, only some of them go out. And the other ones can't even launch. Huh. Okay, so it looks like we can only launch out a few of them. So we're gonna have to think of something else. So I want to try the normal tank cannon and the small tank cannon. And I don't fully know how to do that. I'm gonna set this to something else. So this is gonna be on left click. I'm gonna put it on the left because of that. And then duplicate that. Duplicate that. And we're gonna do left click. That didn't destroy much. That didn't destroy almost anything. And then right click, that destroys it a little bit. But honestly, at that point, I think I'll just go with the bomb base, which destroyed the same amount. I want to see if torpedoes have the same restriction as the other thing did. So let's start to set that strength to that. And then get a gimbal jet on the side of all of these. Just select all of them and duplicate that a few times. Select that, duplicate it over here. Or I guess I can. So we're just gonna we're gonna just rearrange these over here. That should be that. Duplicate this. Move that over. And then we should be able to take off. Let's see if these have the same restriction. They do. And then I want to see if I grab a detachable block from right here. And I just drop dynamite. Where is the dynamite? That would be in combat. Will dynamite clear it? Oh, I forgot the right click is the explode button for dynamite. Just gonna remove that real quick. Fly up. Okay. I want to add some forward thrust to this. Okay, so I'm going to drop this in a completely not snowy area. And it didn't blow up. I'm gonna repair, drop one up here. Also didn't blow up. Maybe I just have to drop them from higher? Or maybe I'll have to add a fuse to them. Huh. I guess I'm gonna add a fuse to them. And how I'm gonna do that is that I'm just gonna have a NOR gate feeding into this on a 1-second delay, and then a NOR gate feeding into that NOR gate. So as long as it's on the build, it's gonna be turned off. I forgot that the dynamite was on toggle from testing. If I switch this off of toggle though, and then drop it, after 1 second, it'll blow up. We need to make that timer a little bit longer, but... Okay, I set it to 5 seconds, and then if I go ahead and drop it now... I dropped it from too high. I go ahead and drop it there, it should... Yeah. Okay, and that leaves a pretty big crater. And there shouldn't be anything stopping me from just having as many of these as I am, however, going to put this in the corner, and then use a checkerboard pattern, and then they won't attach to each other on the sides. I need to duplicate this once over. Duplicate it over here too. And then I should just be able to copy paste all of this. So duplicate that. And then, cool. And then I should be able to duplicate all of this. That. I like how the forces in the top keep trying to yell at me for being, like, off-center when I'm not finished building. And also I have gyros, so it wouldn't matter anyway. Okay. And then if I spawn this in, lift it up, and then I start spinning... Okay. I think I was slightly too high up. I should really make that fuse time longer. And then... let go of spinning here. They all settle in. And then we clear some of the snow. That's perfect. And then all we'll have to do is repair, and then do that again. I am going to add some more gimbal jets, just to the sides here. And then we should be able to fly fine. It's actually making a really cool pattern. So let's go down here, and then release them. And then start clearing out some snow. I'm gonna actually make the timer longer so that they can get more settled in before they explode, and I can be higher up. We're gonna go ahead and do 15 seconds, and then see how that does. Start spinning from like right here. That should give us a larger area too, because they have more time to go out before they just hit the ground. Okay. And then I need to repair. Launch them again. Okay. Detonate one over here. Repair. Do that one again. You can really start to get to clear out some of the snow. And the really interesting patterns happen if you just kind of stay low to the ground. And then I found out if I actually activate it low enough, it can all settle in, like that, and then it will blow up in a second. And honestly, it's really cool to watch it all, like, detonate at the same time. Just another few seconds, and then boom. And then something else I did want to try as a snowplow is just taking a tank tread, and then duplicating that, and then duplicating that, and then duplicating that, again, 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 getting close to the complement, take them from here, oh, I can't take them from there, duplicate this much, and then we have 10 comp for engines and a seed. A seed is 1 comp, and then engines, we don't really want to go too fast, maybe just like a dragon. We want to go faster than that. I forgot how much weight that these added. Because, like, sure, it's entirely adding propulsion. That's what this entire thing is, but... And then, is this flattening out the snow?